Hi, I'm Brian Gowers. I'm a senior architect at Callison RTKL here in Seattle, and currently serving as a project manager for the firm on Macys downtown Seattle re-tenanting project. It's an 8-story building, originally built in 1929 with a major addition in 1953, and we're converting parts of the store into office space.
Existing nearly 100-year-old building in downtown Seattle, cast in place concrete, 10 floors altogether, built in 2 phases. First one in the late 20s, and the second phase adding the upper 4 floors in mid 50s. And we're in doing a voluntary seismic upgrade to the building. It's a historic landmark building in the city of Seattle, and the lower 6 floors are occupied by Macys, so it's an open and operating facility while all of our work is going on. So,
Partway through construction on an incredibly complex project, we were told that they would be using the lean process for scheduling all of their work and planning all of their work, and we were informed that we would have an opportunity to participate, and it has been a really incredible experience.
A lot of coordination and having to work within their space while we're trying to get rebar and demo work done, install the shotcrete, and get that work in place. And then second to that is the seismic steel that ties the rest of the structure into the shear walls, and a lot of that work is going on out on the sales floor. Again, 4 floors of open operating retail space that need to open for business every morning at 10 a.m. and are open till 9 p.m. And so a lot of coordination and trying to get the protection down on the sales floor each night when the store closes, get the work installed, and get it all cleaned up and ready for customers to start at 10 a.m. the following morning. So I contacted Kelly with Apex and asked if he'd be willing to work with myself and kind of lead that initiative. So he was, and what we did was we established kind of an initial weekly planning session strictly for each of those value streams. So we did one at 5 a.m. on Wednesdays and one at 5 a.m. on Thursdays ahead of when the work was supposed to start. We knew that right after the holiday, right after New Year's, we would be back out on the sales floor needing to install a significant portion of the seismic steel. So we got in ahead, identified what the constraints were, identified what some of the challenges were we had on the previous floors that we'd done prior to the holiday shutdown, and just really started the planning process on how do we mitigate those challenges so that when Kelly's crews show up at 9 o'clock at night, they can get the most out of the 10 hours that we had.
We were doing roughly 2 tubes a night. That was our install rate with about 25 guys. Started the lean process, started the 6-week look ahead, started all the trades, all the subcontractors kind of came together with Bailey in the lead of really dissecting everything. And not only did we pre-plan everything that we possibly could, then we started to detail with 6 stickies, Post-its up on the wall, doing it day by day, so we were actually, each subcontractor was held accountable almost hour by hour. The result of that is we were able to place 14 tubes in a day.
I think no one person can know every aspect of construction or design, and so many times we find ourselves in that position where somebody is working in an isolated little bubble and trying to make decisions. For me as a designer and architect, I'm trying to draw solutions to physical real problems, and I don't have my full tool bag. I don't know all the parts and pieces. I don't know all the construction techniques. And to be able to get everybody in the room on a particular problem and say, here's my design intent, here's what I'd like to see, and to be able to have the fabricators there, not just the general contractor who's running the project, but to actually have the fabricators sitting there and telling us the physical parts and pieces they would use and the sequence of construction that they would use to get to this end solution. It helps tremendously when it comes time for me to document things and draw them. because I have a crystal clear image in my mind now of how we're going to solve this problem. And I don't go back and do endless research and try to seek out somebody else in the firm who maybe has experience with that. I know from the guy who's building it exactly what needs to happen, and it is such an amazing process to shorten the duration of what the normal cycle might be to get to a design solution.
There were a few times where basically the process that we took is I go down to the job site and we would walk these different areas that have become a little bit of a challenge. And so project manager with Bailey, with a contractor, would basically just show me, all right, this is kind of the condition that we're dealing with. You know, how should we approach the issue? And the best thing about the experience is that the conversation is happening right there, and I can give feedback, and at the same time they can give me feedback. And at the end of this back and forth is an understanding of how we would solve that problem.